Hey everybody, welcome back or welcome to our Aim Lab Spotlight, where we highlight some of the brightest coaches, players, and experts to improve your gaming performance. In this episode, we speak with LuluLuvely, also known as the Queen of Apex for Energy Esports. She's one of the best female Apex Legend players, ranking at the top 200 in North America. In this episode, we discuss her tips for new Apex players, her favorite tasks in Aim Lab to warm up and prep for Apex, and her streaming career and the lessons she's learned over the years as she's risen to the top of her game. We hope you enjoy. Lulu, it's great to have you on.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So just want to start off first with, how'd you get into gaming? Like, what's that storyline been like for you?
Oh man, I guess with the game I first got into really was RuneScape. I was playing in like fourth grade. So that was kind of like my entryway there. But then SOCOM I started playing in middle school, and that was my first taste of kind of online shooters. And since then it hasn't stopped. I went through that, then through high school, college, I played Call of Duty, and I really just like the competitive aspect of online games. And yeah, I just haven't stopped. I haven't stopped since then. I love it. I love being competitive.
Yeah, for sure. And there's definitely that competitive aspect to it, which I think a lot of people are really drawn to, the
Mhm.
teamwork, the communication, and the competitive side. And so with, that being a thing, the competitiveness, like what's been one of your favorite gaming achievements so far?
Definitely how far I've gotten in Apex.
Yeah.
That's the game I really started to shine. I moved over from console to PC gaming with Overwatch, probably like the second or third season of Overwatch, and my aim sucked. I didn't know what I was doing. I think I was playing on like 2000 DPI, something like insane like that. Couldn't aim to save my life. And then got into Fortnite, still was a little, I couldn't build worth anything.
Yeah.
I was awful. But then Apex came around, and that was the first game that really I was like, I want to be good. I want to be the best. So I did things to get there, and I actually tried to improve my gameplay, my aim, all that jazz. But like as how far I've come in Apex and being known as, the Craver Queen and all that jazz probably is my proudest gaming moment so far.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it sounds like the whole story of like where you started and where you got to now is like super interesting. There's a lot that goes into that. So can you
Mhm.
share a little bit about, like your overall style of gameplay? Like how did you become the best that you are now?
Oh, I don't I like to think I play really aggressive. When I'm confident, like there's such a difference from when I'm feeling confident when I'm not. But when I'm confident, like I'm in there, I'm aggressive. But I found my love, like I guess with my gameplay, I love sniping. I love sniping. And like that's really what, became my forte was picking up snipers and being able to absolutely destroy people with that. Um but I have a little bit to learn with playing smart and whatnot, but being aggressive, you know, sometimes styling on people is my gameplay like style, I guess. So I try to like sometimes if I have like one person like left alive that looks kind of like a bot, I would say I'll try to like 360 no scope them and like play around with them a little bit and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Awesome. And you talked about confidence. Like where does that confidence come from?
um, you know, really like seeing like going back and watching my gameplay, but also like what people comment on my gameplay and they're like, Lulu, I've learned so much from you. You know, I love the way you play. We love watching you play. I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Like I need to continue doing this. And then that also like drives me to improve even more. And honestly, like the feedback in my community really helps my confidence in my gameplay. For sure. They're a big part of that.
Yeah, totally. And that's what I love about the gaming esport community is
Mhm.
they're there to give you feedback. And if you're open, receptive to it, they're actually going to show you some blind spots and also acknowledge you for all the amazing stuff that you do as well.
Yeah, they'll hype me up. They're great.
Yeah, for sure. So it sounds like you do some gaming debriefs and stuff. So what does that look like? So when you sit down and you play, maybe even before you play, can you kind of
Mhm.
walk us through like what is, before you sit down and stream and play, what does that look like? And then after, how do you kind of create that whole package?
I'm usually like what I I'm usually running around all morning, and so I come and I sit down and like I'm usually instantly starting stream. And so, I'll do a little warm up, play a little grid shot, trying to get my score up on that. It frustrates me. Like
Where are you at right now?
The highest I got was
Ah,
95K.
you're almost there, yeah.
I'm so close. And like my chat hates it because I'm like, all right, one more, one more, one more. And it's like 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. I'll start gaming. But that, and then I'll usually, run some pubs just to warm up the aim, the movement. Because if I just like jump into rank or anything completely cold, I'll usually have a pretty rough first games. And I'd rather not throw away RP doing that. Um, but off stream, I really don't do anything. It just starts as soon as I start streaming. Um, I wish I had time to kind of like warm up off stream, but everything's done on stream. So my chat also gets to see me warm up. And I think they really like that because they can see that like I don't, off the rip, my aim's not all the way up here. They see me, okay, they'll go like I start down here and they see me go up, and so they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you're warm now. Let's go rank." I'm like, "All right, y'all are right. I'm warm. I'm warm. Let's go."
That's
So,
awesome. Are there any specific like tasks? You mentioned grid shot. Is there anything else that you play that you find to be the most relevant for Apex?
oh, a lot of the tracking. And there was the new one, the where you can peek around
Yeah.
the corners.
Shot, yeah, yeah.
Because I've always like I've needed to work on peeking and not sticking my whole entire head out sometimes. So I started doing that one too. But uh what it's the tracking one that bounces all around you.
Yeah,
That
sphere
one,
track, circle
oh
track.
my.
Yeah.
Okay, I like went into that. I was like, this is gonna be easy. I can do this. Like, my tracking's fine. And then I'm like, oh my gosh.
So hard. Yeah.
That one, honestly, I want to get better at because I thought I was gonna be really good, but no. And then the sniper shot and grid shot, I just love grid shot. I think my wingman shots have definitely improved.
Nice.
Sometimes I still whiff an entire clip, but my wingman shots have definitely gotten better. Um, but I actually like before I started like aim training and stuff, I was kind of confident in my aim, and then I started the aim training. I was like, okay, I have things to work on. I was like, all right,
Yeah,
gotta
totally.
improve in some areas.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the cool thing about it too, is it gives you that insight to be like, oh, like I didn't really know that I had some of these weaknesses. You can go work on it,
Yeah,
and then you can apply that in game, which it sounds like it's working for you.
yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So I guess I have some questions for like a new player in Apex. Like, what
Huh?
would be some of your fundamentals that you would recommend? Like, I myself am terrible at Apex. I'm trying to get better. So, like, what would be some recommendations that you would say, hey, if you're just starting out playing Apex, like,
Mhm.
what would be some recommendations?
Whenever people ask me in chat, what can I do to improve? The one of the first things I say is be better at looting. Cause like I play with randoms all the time, and sometimes I have randoms, they're taking half the game to loot, or they loot slow in the beginning, and then if we land on a team, that team gets, they out loot us, and you die because you can't loot fast. So I try to tell my community, and sorry, my dog wants attention. Like, know what gun you're looking for, exactly like how many stacks of ammo, like one stack of shotgun, 240 light, two stacks of like shield cells, one stack of batteries, like have your inventory organized and know exactly what you're looking for. And if you learn to loot faster, you can move faster, you'll have the advantage off drop. That, and also just working on game awareness. There's so many people that they don't have any game awareness. And that goes from the very beginning of the game to like picking your drop spot. I'll have, when I'm playing with randoms, they'll land us right on a team because they just don't see them. And I'm like, did you not, like, you have to look around, like look where people are going, look at like how far away teams are. So like getting your awareness up and learning how to loot fast are like the best things you can do to like improve in Apex. And
Yeah,
really
no
like
doubt.
game awareness goes and transfers to mini games. So
Yeah, for sure. So it sounds like it's the game knowledge and
yeah.
understanding the looting aspect, but then the game sense is the more you play, the more you understand kind of the overall strategy and how
Mhm.
things roll out.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's little tiny things that really separate the the lower players and the higher players, to put it nicely.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so when you play with a lot of the random players, like
Mhm.
what's that experience like, and how does that impact communication or just overall strategy?
Well, To be honest, I used to get really mad at randoms. I used to get pretty like like pissed off at how they would play. But for one, playing with randoms has made me a better player because I have to learn how to carry a lot of times and like not play for myself, but like really play well. But a lot of randoms they don't talk. They refuse to use their mic, so the ping system is great for that. Um, but it's tough. Like you honestly like have to keep your cool playing random pubs or even like solo queuing rank. Like it's tough. It's really hard. But if you play for you and do the best you can, and like learn how to not rely on your teammates. So like and like that's good and bad, but in the end that makes it to where you're able to clutch situations. It makes you a better player. And I honestly, if I know like no one wants to play solo pubs or solo rank, but I think doing so really will help you like be a better player. In the end, you'll learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah, totally. And so on that same line too, I mean, you talk about, maybe getting tilted in game. What are some
Mhm.
ways you kind of work through that? And I would imagine too, it just comes with experience of like, hey, it's not that big of a deal. But what are some things you do
Yeah.
to work through that?
Well, like again, I used to get like I'm extremely competitive. I don't like losing. I hate it, and I used to let that get to me a lot. And once I would get to like a certain point of being tilted, it was super hard to turn that around at all. So really like I use my chat to like help me stay kind of like level headed and not tilt. And like I've kind of like been like, okay, oh, it's tragic. Or I'll make a joke like, oh, my monitor turned off. Oh, like I totally like I didn't throw that. My monitor turned off or my mouse disconnected. Like kind of joking about my losses helps me like not tilt and get pissed off because I don't like taking L's. I want to win, but I really have to keep my mood in check because as soon as I let that go downhill, it affects gameplay. The stream mood, all that chat is very receptive off of the streamer's vibes as well. So if I tilt, chat starts getting like toxic and they start tilting, and so I have to just like be very mindful. And it's taken a lot of learning and self-realization of okay, I need to control how I take L's. And so like I said, like joking about it has really helped me. So like there's so many things I'll joke about, like yeah, the monitor turning off or oh, my internet's 50% out. And so that's how I have learned to not tilt is just
Yeah.
joking about the losses and be like, all right, we go again, it's okay, on to the next one, it's totally okay. So it's taken a while to get to that point.
Totally. I mean, I think the interesting thing too is like, and you mentioned about your chat being really responsive. It's like they go
Mhm.
as you go,
Oh
much
yeah.
like the players in game will go as you go, especially if you're a more experienced player. So it's kind of like that self-examination of being like, okay, well, how am I acting in game? And then the chat is like this great mirror of like they could probably pick up on it as well. I
Yeah,
imagine that whole experience is really interesting.
it is streaming. I've learned a lot about people, and it honestly is a very huge learning experience. And it's like when you get to a certain size and you're having to basically control thousands of people, you do learn a lot and you realize how receptive like they are. So I used to get really mad, and I used to be like, I would someone would kill me and I'd be like, oh, like string of cuss words, you're like whatever. And but so now I'll just be like, oh, that was weird. Ah, what a weirdo. And then so my chat's like, yeah, ha ha ha. But like before, if I was like really angry, even if I had no idea who the person was that killed me, chat would be like, yeah, F that guy, yeah, he sucks. Yeah, we hate him. I'm like, okay, pitchforks down. And so like
Yeah.
I had to realize, okay, like so they take everything I say and they'll amplify it. So I've had to be like, I guess it's also becoming a better like sportsman in gaming. Like, I even or I'll be like, ah, you know what? Good shots. That guy had, good shots on him, he got me. So chat, and when I do that, chat is like, yeah, that was a good shot. Yeah, they'll mimic. They're like a toddler. If you say cuss word from a toddler, that toddler's gonna go and repeat it. So yeah, learning how to handle chat has been probably the biggest thing and the hardest thing at streaming wise, especially FPS chats and chats from people that play like competitive video games. They're a different breed.
For sure. So along the lines of, let's say you have a couple of bad games, and like,
Mhm.
what are some things you do to kind of like reset? And maybe at the end of the day, or maybe like you said, like you work out in the morning, like I followed your stream as well. You talk
Mhm.
about working out. Like, what are some of the things you do to kind of reset yourself to set you up for something that comes next?
Well, definitely like working out improves my overall mood and energy level on stream, like overall. So like that helps, and like I can do a lot of taking care of myself outside of stream, which I've also learned that I need to take care of a lot of aspects of my life outside of stream. So like if I ignore all those, that pours into stream, and when I do that, there's no coming back from tilted games. I tilt easily. It's a mess, and I've had to learn the hard way that I need to really organize my life outside of streaming and take care of that. But also, if I'm tilting in game, like I need to like listen to my chat when they're like it's okay, like hey, like because they're very supportive, and usually I would just be like no, this sucks, I hate it, where I'm losing, and chat would be like oh my gosh, she's pissed, she's streamer's mad, guys, and I was like, and that would piss me off even more. um so really like taking a break, and I'll like call Presley over and I'll play with her a little bit after I had like 3 bad games. I'll be like all right, dog time. Like, 'cause I used to just crank out games, and then your mood just goes down and down and down and down. So I've learned, okay, it's okay to take a breather. Like 5 minutes. Like it's like even if it's really bad, I'll get up and I'll walk around. I'll I'll take a little break, and I'm like, okay, I need to collect myself because it's not a good look to sit here and be pissed off all the time, which is something again I've had to really learn because I'm I let my competitiveness get to me. Like I've said, like it's bad, but it's all been a learning curve to be honest, and it's all happened in like the last year or two. It's
Awesome.
crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of like finding your edge, right? It's like you want to
Yeah,
be on that edge, you want to be hyper competitive, and you also don't want to spill over to the other side where you can't come back from that. And so
yeah.
it sounds like there's been just a lot of, maturity or maturation that's come, especially in this last year, like you said, of just learning how to understand those dynamics and, also continue to improve your gameplay as well as manage life and in-game, I mean, the toxicity. Like, are there any certain times where you're like dealing with toxicity? Like, how's that?
Yes, I have many stories. The Apex community is it not the best with toxicity. There's a lot of it. So that's also like something I've struggled with because I blew up fast with an Apex. And again, being like the top female in the category, that's it. You get a lot of attention and you get a lot of negative attention as well. So it's everywhere from if I'm playing with a male, uh, it's instant. You're getting boosted. He's carrying you, blah blah blah. And so that's every day, and then it's also in every game as well. But with Apex, I had to deal with a few pretty like I guess like big like toxic events. I used to cast the ALGS, and I got absolutely just destroyed with on Reddit and comments, and like it was the most disgusting. Like I was invalidated. It was awful, and then so I quit casting. I was like, you know what? Not for me. I'm not going to expose myself to like that toxicity level because I know how I get affected. I'm very sensitive. I'll be tough on stream, but that hurts. Like when you see like hundreds and hundreds of it like pouring in. Um, so it's been also like I've had to really learn how to handle toxicity because I used to I would want to correct everybody. I would want to fight with them, and then but it's not a good look to sit there and argue with people who nothing you say will change their opinion about you. They are just angry. They don't care. They don't care if you're the best. They don't care about your accomplishments. Like I've had to learn to not argue with them, and like that's really helped me deal with the toxicity, not ignoring it, but not letting it get to me and being like the kind of like dismissing it as, it's a sad person. It's not worth my time. Um and then like a couple weeks ago I got attacked on Reddit because I reported a cheater and with like proof of everything because Hideouts does all the bans and whatnot, and you can you can send in clips and he takes care of it. And that channel is open up to absolutely everybody. You know, streamers, non-streamers, anybody can send in clips. So that's what I did. I sent in a clip. Well, the guy he was playing with got banned as well. Even though he wasn't cheating, he had like 25 banned accounts, fan evasion. He was playing with the cheater, all that jazz. So he made a Reddit post saying that I used my power as a female to influence the devs to ban this guy. And then before Respawn came out with their statement, I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people attacking me on Twitter, Instagram, everything in my chat. I was getting death threats. The dev was getting death threats. And then Respawn came out with their statement and was like, yeah, this guy's been banned like 25 times. He deserves it. Like nothing's wrong here. Like the proper channels were used. And so people then were like silent, nothing, no apology or anything. But people in the community were so excited for drama, and I had never dealt with like that level of toxicity. That was tough. That was really, really hard. But again, like my community was very supportive, and they without them, I definitely would crumble with all the negativity. But so there's been a lot of toxicity. I've dealt with a lot in the community. But it's made me grow as a person, like learning how to ignore it and just understand that like that person doesn't deserve to ruin my mood. Like they don't get to do that. I am in control of like how I react and how I feel. And so I really had to learn again to just not argue with these people. Like nothing I say will change like what they want to say to me. And so what I can do is go about my business. And that's the best way to defeat toxicity is to just continue doing what I do and not give it a thought. And that person is probably going to be like, oh, it didn't work. Okay. And then they leave. That's usually what happens. They're like, oh, no reaction. Okay. But yeah, there's been a lot of toxic moments in the community for sure. And like, it's crazy because I'll switch games and my chat like is so nice on other games. I don't have people coming in and telling me that I'm boosted or anything. And it's, I don't know what it is. Again, I think it's just because I've reached a point in the community where I'm an easy target because I'm up here. And yeah, it comes down to not letting it affect you. And that's easier said than done, but still it's going to be a continuing like, you know, learning process with all that.
Yeah, and you're doing it. I mean, I think you
Yeah.
called out some really important points. I mean, first, like the human aspect, like I don't think people, I think because it's behind a screen, they sometimes forget that there's a human on the other side.
Oh yeah.
And like, you know, we're really good to, you know, putting up fronts and not letting it impact us. But then, you know, when we shut off our computers, it's like, damn, that really sucked. And so I think calling that out is really important. I think more people are starting to get in tune with that and really
Mhm.
figure out that like, hey, that's actually not the way to go about things. And I really just want to acknowledge you for, you know, how you handled that and, you know, how you continue to carry yourself. Because it's a good role model for, you know, what's possible. You know, being a woman that's playing at the highest level, it's like you've got a target on your back and you're still performing
Mhm.
and you still have a great community following you. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's I definitely again like couldn't do without my community. And again, being like a female, being a top female, I get a lot of messages from other females in the community and they're just like, "Hey, like, you know, thanks for being you.
For
Like thanks
sure.
for giving us someone to look up to. Like your accomplishments, you know, all of that is such an inspiration." And like getting those kind of messages are my favorite cuz I'm like, "Wow, like I'm making a difference, you know. I because it's the industry still has a long way to go with a lot of things. Um, but it just makes me happy that there's other females that, you know, they look up to me and that makes me just love what I do even more, to be honest.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I think males too. I mean, I think males and
Yeah,
females can learn. So if we have the conversation and are open to actually learning, it's a huge opportunity for growth for both sides.
definitely.
Which is so exciting when I think about this industry. It's like, you know, yeah, you called it out. I mean, it's still fairly young and there's so much more growth that's going to happen. But it's
Mhm.
individuals like yourself and other streamers that are open and talking and really kind of paving the way for this next generation of these young players coming up to really understand, like, one, how do you perform at the highest level? And two, like, how do you handle your business, both in game, out of game, that work-life balance, all those things are so important.
Oh, 100%. And yeah, I used to just really not care about like, what I was doing outside stream, what I was eating or how much I was sleeping or fitness. And it's like it's tough, and streaming is it's mentally exhausting, and your mental takes a hit streaming. It really does. It's not easy to put yourself in front of thousands of people, and you're opening yourself up to, critiques and all that jazz. So definitely like balancing my life outside of streaming, making sure I get 8 hours of sleep, waking up in the morning, having some time to myself where I'm not staring at a screen, I'm not like checking social medias, all that jazz. That has really helped me like mood wise and just energy wise and mentally. Like I need to make sure everything outside stream is good, and that even comes down to having a clean office besides, all the Presley toys and stuff. But like around my desk, even cleaning that like affects my mood. If there's clutter, if it's messy, it gives off, different energy than if you have a clean work area. So I really like have had to learn that my off stream is as important as my on stream. So, and they affect each other as well.
100%. I mean, that's like, I love that you called that out because that's like a huge thing for me, right? Coming from traditional sport background, working in esports for 4 years, it's like, okay, what can we take that's tried and true around lifestyle, mental strategies, nutrition, movement, recovery, just environmental cues, and give that insight to these gamers and streamers and be, okay, like, here's how you can level up. And if you
Mhm.
start to construct and build your life that way, both in game and out of game, the two go hand in hand, and they collectively everything rises, and then it's just, you're optimized all around.
Yeah, like when I first started streaming, like 4 years ago, I was working full time in finance. I would come home, I would stream, I would sleep 2 hours a night, I would eat Sonic every night, like midnight. My diet was just like coffee and fast food and all that jazz, and wasn't working out at all. And even after I quit my full time job and I was just streaming, I still didn't make any lifestyle changes. I would still, stay up way too late and all that jazz, and like play games off stream. Like I don't even play games off stream after stream. Like when I'm done, I'm done. Like I'm like winding down for bed.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to stay up and play with my friends and stuff, I know that I gotta go get my sleep, or else I'm gonna be cranky tomorrow, and it's not gonna be enjoyable. I'll be cranky on stream, all that jazz. So, like probably like a year and a half ago, I really started doing I'm gonna stop eating fast food. I'm gonna stop drinking a liter of Diet Coke a day, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel good, like, and again, like that just reflects on stream. It really carries over to, just the little tiny lifestyle changes make the biggest difference. So,
Yeah, and it's those small habits that you build over time that turn into that lifestyle change. And
mhm.
it both, it's going to impact in game, out of game, just overall collectively, just how you carry yourself day to day,
Yeah, and like, even like mental clarity.
for sure.
If you're foggy and, groggy, all that jazz, you're not going to be able to perform well like you're not going to play well. And I've definitely like during my lowest times, I would be like, I can't play. I'm not hitting my shots. I'm I can't do anything. My awareness isn't there. I don't know what's wrong with me. This is pissing me off. I would rage quit stream, and that's kind of like when I realized like, okay, there's things outside of stream I need to take care of.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of fellow streamers, they hit that burnout, they hit that mental like collapse because they're pouring everything they have into their stream, and then like they're staying up till 6 a.m. They don't sleep. They're streaming 12 hours a day, which is there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to be taking care of the outside as well. And, seeing that and like experiencing myself, like that's my biggest motivator to make sure I have my routine, like my fitness, my health, all that jazz. And yeah, it's crazy. It really does affect performance 100%.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad you're calling that out because Yeah, I try to preach that too. And coming from somebody like yourself who's at the top of her game, taking care of herself. I mean, it's such a great role model for guys and girls.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of pressure in the industry. Like, if you're not grinding the most, you're not going to make it. Like, so there's like a lot of pressure to be streaming 10 hours a day, to, constantly be putting out content and like, streaming is everything. And there's a lot of pressure to do that to get to the top. And, even I thought, I had to be sitting down here nonstop streaming. And I just, again, like I learned through, people I consider mentors, other streamers, they helped me realize, streaming 10, 12 hours a day that's not going to give you growth. That's what everyone thinks, that, you got to be you got to be streaming more than the next person. It comes down to so much more than that. And yeah, again, it's just like in the industry, it's it's still young. There really is no formula to success. Um, it really does come down to hard work, but it there's just such like a misconception of you need to be like exhausting yourself every single day, or you're not going to make it. And then you burn out, you burn and crash. And we've seen with some streamers that they were rising to fame and they were grinding, 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 and then they just drop off
Yep.
and they quit. And it's really just not taking care of yourself and everything else. So yeah, I know it's there's really like, I think the viewer wise, they don't stand really like the mental stress and impact that streaming has. It's it's tough. It really is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, just I think you calling that out, it's like a really good conversation point because then people can start to understand like there's so much more that goes into it than just sitting down playing and flipping on
Mhm.
camera and just grinding through it. There's all aspects of just how you take care of yourself, both mental and physical and emotional too. I mean, all these things are so important that people that are watching this right now can then take and think about, okay, well, what am I doing on a day-to-day? Maybe I'm not a streamer, but maybe I like to
Mhm.
play competitively, or maybe I just like to play casually. But what is something from this that I can take and use right now that could help me level up in some aspect of my life?
Well, I mean, even like without like, it doesn't even have to be gaming, with any job or any hobby or anything you want to excel at, you need to look at every aspect of your life. And something that when I was like at my low, I was waking up at like 7, 8 a.m. and I made this kind of like reading room, has my bookcases and like my piano, and it's morning light, it's really nice. And I was like, I'm gonna sit here for an hour.
Yeah,
I'm
good
just
for
gonna
you.
collect my thoughts, and I'm just gonna like be here right now and just enjoy this hour. And I think you don't even need an hour. It doesn't have to be like at 7 a.m. But I think anybody, no matter what you're doing, if you just take like 30 minutes and just be, it sounds weird, but like just be there and kind of just okay, like I don't have to do anything right now. Like it can even be 10 minutes. If you're super busy, just sit there and be like, I'm just gonna take in the moment. I'm just gonna kind of like be in my head and kind of like meditate and just not have to do anything. And
Yeah.
like doing that, that was like the starting point of me fixing everything. Because in those, 10, 30 an hour, you think about all the things that were like that you've been ignoring and pushing aside because you've been grinding, your game, your sport, your job. And, you know, if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing all your like your thoughts and your struggles aside, that's when they blow up and that's when you have a breakdown. So like, I think no matter what you're doing, just like take a little sliver of your day where you're not running around, you're not looking at your phone, not stressing about, what this or that. You just sit there and you're just like, okay, like this is okay. Like I'm alive. Like
Yeah.
I can do this.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, and with streamers again with anything, you can just become a robot so easily. And you just forget that like you're living a life. Like you have like this is your day. You're not getting today back. So just like take 10 minutes, absorb, reflect, and then go get it. Like go after it. And
Yeah.
like it's I just think there's a lot of even in like in every industry, there's just like people like to ignore like the mental part of life. So I know that's a really long like tip and explanation, but I think that's like something that people should really do is just take time and reflect.
Look, I'm glad you said all that because I 100% agree with you. It's like one of my favorite quotes. I forget who had said it, but they're like, 20 minutes a day, you should either meditate or take some time. And if you're really busy, do an hour.
Mhm.
And it's just kind of like, when things get super crazy, make the time, whether it's first thing in the morning or sometime throughout the day where you can actually sit in, like you said, just be there
Yeah.
and have the things where you give yourself that space. Cause I think a lot of times people, they have their container and they start to fill in this container. And then that's when they start to get overloaded. And you call that like breakdowns. And breakdowns are inevitable,
Mhm.
but you can't generate any breakthroughs from that breakdown if you don't give yourself the time and the space to be like, okay, like what is actually going on? Because things are just continually compounded. So I'm really hoping that people that
Yeah.
are going to watch this pick up on that because that's gold right there.
It is, and like I think there's a lot of misconception on meditating as well that it's, like, oh, that's not going to do anything for me. Oh, that's weird. And, I think that everyone really should kind of dive within their own head. And like, that's really how you learn about yourself. You become self aware. You learn, like, I had to do that to really learn why I was reacting to things.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like I would, I mean, I still kind of get mad easily. But now I'm like, okay, why am I getting mad?
Yeah.
Is it worth being mad? Like, is it worth this level of anger? Am I irritated? Yes. Can I be irritated at this? Sure. Should I let it affect my entire day? No. 'Cause I used to let things, the littlest inconvenience, I would like, oh, today's ruined. It's ruined. But like when I started reflecting, I'd be like, okay, why are you really this pissed off at this? Like, is I was really able to dive within my own head. And I just think that there's been strides towards, mental health and stuff, but I still think a lot of people are uncomfortable, like diving within their own head, talking about, what they feel or even like to themselves. Like, I think that people need to learn how to talk to themselves and like how to
100%.
dive through their thoughts and stuff. But yeah, it's something that I'm really glad that I started doing because it's really helped me overcome and get myself out of like all the low points and whatnot. So
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I think the whole dialogue, whether it's in your head or dropping into your body and be like, okay, what am I
Mhm.
feeling? And like,
Yeah.
what does that even feel like? Where is this happening in my body? And I think people are so disconnected. They're always up in their head. They don't drop into their heart or their body, kind of open up to even feel into like what's really going on. So I think
Mhm.
that's a crucial part. I mean, meditation, people call it very woo woo, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's just that self examination that can allow you to slow down so that you can speed up, which is a huge missing for a lot of individuals. And I hope, this interview being one of the things that kind of changes perspective for a lot of people is it's a tool. Like you can use
Yeah.
that as a tool to rapidly accelerate and open up more opportunities for yourself in the space. Because if you're able to clear all that negativity, first and foremost, our own negativity in our own mind, and be like, why the hell am I even thinking that?
Yeah.
Like, clear that shit out of there. And then be like, okay, cool. Like, what's really going on? How do I want to interact? What is this trigger?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and like to give it into a streaming example and perspective, I could stream 10 hours and I would be in a foul mood. I was pissed off. I'd be grumpy. I would be like, nobody wants to watch a grumpy streamer. So like, and I was doing that for so long that I started hearing, oh, Lulu's always just mad. She's always just so angry. And like, and that really, I took that to heart and I was like, okay, that's not what I want people to think. Like, I'm really not that angry, but like, I'm not controlling my emotions. And, you know, so instead of doing a 10-hour stream where I'm just sitting there pissed off at everything and I'm barking at chat and I'm raging at games, I like that's before I started really kind of getting my emotions in check and like in check and like my thoughts in check. So like, you know, a 10-hour stream where you're pissed off is going to do far less than now. Like I'll stream for like 6 hours, but the vibes are there, the mood is there, the view count's higher, my like sub count like going up, follower count going up. So like all those things are increasing more with a 6-hour stream where it's positive, it's welcoming, than a 10-hour stream where I'm just fuming the entire time, or I'm just pissed off. So like that kind of goes again and to show like, you can do more with a 6-hour stream with how you handle yourself, you interact than a 10-hour stream. You don't have to be doing that and burning yourself out, getting pissed off. But in that all like started to change when I really got my mental health in check and started figuring out I don't have to be mad all the time. I don't need to be pissed off. Like I can just, have fun. I can fry kids and I can also just be positive and like
Yeah.
laugh with Chad and all that jazz. So and it's crazy like the effect that just goes into everything. So, like I said, like the numbers go up, chat is happier, like they're not as toxic. They want to interact with me. They want to talk more, and that changes more to people no longer like Lulu's mad all the time. It's like, Lulu's funny. Lulu's happy. What? Like, this is crazy. So, like, that's really made me happy to see those changes, like, stem from, again, just taking care of everything outside streaming and really, like knocking out the mental health. So it's crazy. And like, I just, yeah, again, I think a lot of people don't understand how your success with streaming and with like any job. It could be a corporate job. If you're cranky and pissed off all day and people don't want to talk to you, you're giving off bad vibes. Like that, you're not going to go far. You
Yep.
know. So yeah, I think I wish more people really like took care of their mental health. It makes me sad, but I think the society is kind of making the small baby steps in the right direction.
Yeah, it's getting there. I mean, I think one of
Yeah.
the things you pointed to is like it's just having fun. It's like
Yeah.
it's supposed to be fun, and having bringing that sense of play to just all aspects of your life. And like, the game of life is the craziest, most fun game you could ever play.
Yeah.
Why not show up and be super positive and be like, okay, this is like this crazy world that we live in. Like, let's have fun. Let's figure
Yeah.
out what works, what doesn't. And that's all part of, I think, this whole human journey of, how we show up and how we carry ourselves and the relationships that we have and the things that we do. And that's why it's so awesome seeing you do what you do and bring that positivity. And also just like hearing your story now of like the learnings, like the learning curve of that is just
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And so with relationships, who you surround yourself with, even on stream. Like I've had to learn like my chat again being very receptive, like most Twitch chats are. If you play with someone who's negative all the time and they're raging and they're cussing at people and they're dropping bombs and all, they're just negative. They're just mean. Like chat feeds off that too. So I used to play with people that like they weren't the best vibes, and I would like I'm very receptive to how other people are. So if like I'm around negative people, my mood instantly changes. So something with my streaming journey, I became more conscious with who I played with, who I invited into my stream. And I tell my chat all the time, I'm very picky about who I play with on stream. I don't care if you're a 10 viewer Andy or like a 10,000 viewer Andy. Like if you're negative and your vibes are down low and you're not enjoyable to talk to and you piss off my chat, I'm not gonna play with you. So like I started playing with more positive people and people that kept me in check too. So like I would get downed or I would get killed in a game, and I every part of me would want to be like, that's weird. Why did they come over here? Are they stream sniping? So like I would want to be like that, and then the people I started playing with, they were like, Lulu, they're probably just rotating, and I'd be like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. They're probably just rotating. You're right. And so like surrounding myself with positive people, and that goes for every aspect in life. Surrounding yourself with good influences and positive people and people that don't want to bring you down because negativity just, loves company. Like that's really helped change the vibes of my stream, my community, and myself is just surrounding myself with positive people that share the same values and the outlooks and like they care about mental health and they don't want to just sit there and like be toxic, but also just like this industry and like everything is so easy to like joke on people and like you might think it's joking, but like I've learned that like with chat, like not all jokes are okay.
Yep.
And so like I've X'd out people that have made jokes. I'm like, you know what? That's not okay. Like, you probably made some people in my chat uncomfortable. You know, I'm not gonna play with you anymore. And like, I don't say that to them, but I don't invite them anymore. Like,
Yeah.
they're not allowed. So, and like, you know, that's every aspect of life. You really just need to be conscious about who you invite into your life. It's it makes the biggest impact, which is something, yeah, one of my many learning experiences in the past couple of years.
For sure. I mean, it's like you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, and your vibe attracts your tribe. But it
Mhm.
starts with you first and foremost, getting your vibe in check. And then it's the energy and who you start to attract. And then also being mindful, like, are these the right people that I want to be attracting? And like, is
Mhm.
this collectively positive? Um, yeah,
Yeah.
this is great. Okay, so I want to first off, thanks for all that. Like,
Yeah, no problem.
that's super
Sorry,
awesome.
I can rant sometimes.
No, this is great. I want to circle back to Apex. So with
Oh,
the new
yeah.
season coming out, or it's out,
Mhm.
what are your impressions? Like, what do you like? What you don't like? Like, what are the maybe some key insights you can maybe give some of these new players?
I there's always so many different opinions about the new stuff that Apex puts out, but personally, I really like the map. It like everyone's biggest complaint right now is there are audio problems on the map. Like there's parts where it's silent and like, you know, audio bugs in and out. But overall, I love the map. It's huge. It's beautiful. Like I'm happy the cars don't run you over and kill you because I die so much to cars in Warzone. But I love the direction that Apex is going, and like I've gone to their play tests. I've had the pleasure of talking to the devs, and they are trying really hard to make Apex meet its all of its potential because it there's a lot of potential still with Apex. In audio, of course, is it's the biggest complaint. It has been for seasons, and they are making strides. The map has some problems, but they've acknowledged it and they're working on it. But yeah, I love the new map. I really do. It's just beautiful. It's
Yeah,
I have a lot of fun on it, and like I know a lot of people that are like, I hate it, and it's like, come on, like why do you hate it? Like
it's a
audio,
strong word. Yeah,
yeah.
hate's a strong word.
And I think, well, like it's the only map in rotation right now. So I know people miss like World's Edge and whatnot. I still love World's Edge. They did a fantastic job with all the changes on that. Um, but I think they're doing good. I really like I've been very critical of Apex, and like I've voiced my opinion about a lot of things, that bugs, like things that are OP or whatnot. But I honestly truly like season 7. And a lot of people are like, wow, you like it? You're not hating it for once. I'm like, no, they did good. So yeah, I do like the map. I love it.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and having this conversation. You touched on so many good points, and just really want to acknowledge you for who you are, and the role model that you are and the example you're setting for this current and future generations of players and streamers, and just the fun and play that you bring to everything. Where can people find out more about you? Like, where are some good places to check you out?
I Twitter, Instagram, you know, YouTube, TikTok, across the board. It's all LuluLuvely. Instagram has an underscore because I don't know why LuluLuvely was available, but all that jazz. Like, you know, I just started doing TikTok. It's all gaming clips.
Cool.
But yeah, I do YouTube as well, and I'm going to be coming out with a Q&A on that because, you know, since I've had my growth, my blow up, I really haven't done a Q&A where people can, you know, hear more and hear my thoughts and all that jazz. But yeah, so that's coming out soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Really
Yeah,
appreciate you
no
coming on.
problem. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoy talking about, you know, what I love and the things I do, and it just I'm very proud of the community I've built. So
Yeah, you should be.
I like to flex them.
Yeah, for sure. Well, your community is awesome. You're awesome. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Bye. Hey everyone, we hope you enjoyed this episode with Lulu. She is super legit, provided a ton of great insight on how you can level up your Apex game. For more on Lulu, check her out on her social media and watch her stream. And if you dig these videos, like it, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on social media, where we're constantly putting out great content to help you level up your gaming. See you next time.